every time I pick up the horn, it's a risk, and I love it. It's that daredevil attitude, like jumping out of a plane, it's not enough, like jumping off a bridge, not enough, but playing the horn every day, it's a challenge. So a lot of us are just kind of crazy. You have to be to like pick up an instrument that's so difficult. Some days, the instrument gets the better of you, but the difference about being a pro and an amateur is like those days are few and far between. We've pretty much figured out a way to play the horn and make it beautiful and consistent, even though it's like, treacherous and dangerous. I've always been drawn to like something that's new, something that's fast, something that's exciting. And the French horn never lets me down. I remember like, I played bass guitar for a while, I snowboarded, I surfed, I skateboard, all these things. I ride motorcycles, but they're all passing. The French horn's the one thing on a daily basis that I keep coming back to, and it's a new challenge every day, and it's exciting every day. I remember the first day I played the French horn, my grandma was a French horn player, and I went over to her house, and I went up to her attic, and I pulled out this case. It was all beat up, and smelled like mothballs in the closet. I opened it up, and there was this shiny brass instrument there. And I remember we cleaned out a mouthpiece, and we put it in the horn, and from the very first sound, I knew I don't want to just do this. I want to do this like well. I want to do this really well. My grandma went to the other room and she pulled out this cigar box. And this cigar box was filled full of, just tarnished mouthpieces. She opened it up and I was just thinking, how does that work in a French horn? And she took one and she took it to the sink and she got some silver polish and she polished it up. And then she handed it to me. I put it in the horn, and I made my first sound on a French horn. Well, that mouthpiece is the mouthpiece I use today. And I've tried a lot of mouthpieces, but it's always the one I come back to because it's special. I feel like every concert, I have my grandma there with me on stage. I just found that it's the best sound, and it's the best overall match for me, but it's really special to me. And I'm really glad that I still get to use something that belonged to my grandma in every concert. That's the same equipment that I played my very first note on. And it still works. Oh, this is how they're supposed to look. Once they start getting a little dirty and a little tarnished, that's when they start looking beautiful. All horns were shiny and new and bright, but now the style is to kind of leave them unvarnished. And the more kind of tarnish you get, the cooler your horn looks. And it's kind of a custom look for your horn. Everyone's hand or everyone's sweat makes the horn look a little different. It's really nice because the horn turns yellow. It's not so shiny. How much does a French horn cost? Well, like any good instrument, there are varying ranges of prices, but this is a custom French horn that was made for me by Steve Lewis in Chicago, and it goes for about $12,500. Yeah, there's a 6-year waiting list for one of his horns. I was on the list starting in 2007, and last year it became available for me, and I'm so happy with this instrument because my teacher, Eric Rusk, who's also one of my huge life mentors and great friends today, plays a Steve Lewis instrument. And then also principal horn of the Chicago Symphony, Dale Clevenger, who's one of my huge heroes, played a Steve Lewis horn for his whole career. When we started off with the French horn, there wasn't any valves, there wasn't any tubing in here. It's just one bugle. And French horn was used for, communication in the woods. Everyone knew that was the sound for, hey, the fox is, over this direction. Oh, come over here. Let's meet the fox. oh, we found the fox. We killed the fox. And it was kind of a joke when they brought the French horn into a concert setting because it had been an outdoor instrument prior to, being played in the orchestra. But people realize that the French horn has so many different capabilities with the sound. It can be heroic, it can be sentimental, it can be soft, it can be majestic. Every characteristic of human emotion, I feel, can be expressed through a horn. That's why it's so captivating for me, is that, when I don't have the words for what I'm trying to say, I could pick up my French horn, and that's my voice. That's my outlet. And that's why I don't get bored, is because the French horn, for me, captures my emotion. It captures what I'm trying to say when I don't have the words to say it. September 11th was a really difficult day for a lot of Americans. And I remember many of my classmates in high school were watching the TV and repeating the scene. I knew what had happened, and I didn't want to watch it over and over again. All I wanted to do was be with the sound of my horn to express how I felt with music. When I'm having a day where I'm stressed out, I play Bach, and it's therapy. I feel like my life is gratitude expressed through my opportunities and my music. When I was 18, my father passed away suddenly and tragically, and it hurt. I remember coming home from school one day, and there'd been an accident at work, and my father was no longer with us. And I remember thinking, like, how am I going to deal with this? And for a long time, I didn't know how to cope with the grief, and I didn't know that I had grief. I ended up taking a period of time off the French horn, where I dealt with my grief, and I dealt with, life in general. I dealt with figuring out who I was, and I feel like most young people go through a period where they're looking for something, or they have struggles. And, one of the things that has built my character is going through all this. My grandmother, who gave me my French horn, helped get me some help. And when she was on her deathbed with cancer and hospice, I was able to play French horn for her. And words couldn't reach her anymore, but you could tell the French horn and the music did. It's cool because I never thought I'd be able to play music again. I thought I'd lost it. I thought that when I was 30, I'd be lucky to have a part-time job, and I'd be lucky to play in an orchestra that was on a regional level. I was living up in Washington at the time, and working for a nonprofit. And I thought, if I could just play in the Bremerton Symphony, I don't even have to be first chair. If I can play in the Bremerton Symphony as third horn by the time I'm 30, And, I've come such a long ways. It's like a dream come true. I can't, some days I wake up, I can't believe I'm principal horn of the Dallas Symphony. I can't. This is a place where I can take risks and I can make beautiful music, and people want me to, do better than I can, already do. And I felt challenged by Yop. In Dallas Symphony, Yop wants me to play better than I could play by myself. He wants to challenge me for the sake of the music, which is what everyone wants, what I want. As a musician, we want the music to speak for itself, and we want it to come to life. And I feel like we want someone on the podium who's giving as much or more than we are. And I feel like Yop gives so much, and he's so intense, And I can only rise to that level.